What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update for you guys. But before we get into that, we're going to reveal the competition winner. I've been banging on about this all week. We are giving away 2 T-shirts to one lucky winner out there for you and your friend. And it's time to reveal who has won that competition. If you bring on the Wheel of Fortune, we've got a big randomizer here. As soon as I flick the switch, the winner will be revealed. So are we ready for this?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on.
All right.
Cross your fingers.
Thank you, everyone, for joining this competition. You can see quite a number of you did join. So let's go and have a look who has won. Here we go. Where is it going to stop? Nobody knows.
And it's... Oh!
Carrick Barnett.
Carrick Barnett.
Well done.
Well done, Carrick.
Big up to you, Carrick Barnett. We will be in contact via email if you're watching, but you have won yourself a T-shirt for you and your friends. So I'll get in contact. Let me know which T-shirt you do want. But congratulations to you, my friend.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Well, maybe he's left to Manchester United for 16.5 million, but who knows? But let's get into the Tottenham update. We have one confirmed story to bring to you today, and that is regarding Tanguy Ndombele. The rumours are true. Spurs have announced it today. The club can confirm the departure of Tanguy Ndombele following the mutual termination of his contract, effective from June the 30th, upon conclusion of his current loan spell. Wishing you all the best for the future, Tanguy. And yeah, it's a sad end to what was a terrible transfer. Cast your mind back to, was it 4 years ago now, 2019, when we did sign him. And
how excited we all were.
We were all so excited. We really were. You know, he was supposed to be that player to take us on to the next level. Hasn't worked out. It's been a shocking transfer, which broke our transfer record at the time, which I still think holds as our transfer record. Let's hope we can break it this summer. But yeah, it's just a sad end to what was a disaster of a transfer. And I think Spurs have done the right thing of letting him go a year early. It's going to be it's going to be a significant layout in monetary terms to pay out the rest of his fee, earning 200 grand a week or something like that. But it is the right thing, isn't it?
They've said reports suggesting it's about just over 5 million they've paid out in this payout to get rid of Tanguy Ndombele. So they've put their money where their mouth is in terms of getting rid of Tanguy. But yeah, I was a big believer in him. I really thought with a player with that kind of ability, you just need to get into his psychology. You just have to get into his head and get him playing and get him working as hard as possible, and you'd be on to a winner. Unfortunately, no manager could really do it.
Mourinho was the closest one to do it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He performed for a decent amount, but he had about a good 6 months where he was performing quite well, but unfortunately couldn't really continue that level of performance for a sustained period of time. And whatever manager he had, he did seem to fall out with all of them in terms of none of the managers really trusted him. Even Mourinho, he always used to say, if Tanguy if Tanguy's work ethic was to the level of his ability, he'd be a world-class player, but unfortunately he never was. And that was a sad case with Ndombele. And, you know, he had various loan spells back to Lyon, didn't really work out, to Napoli, wasn't really a starter there, to Galatasaray, they didn't really like him as well. So wherever he's been, it's always been a case of Ndombele not being able to fully apply himself, every manager always wanting more out of him, and him always not putting the most out of his own ability. And why that was the case, I guess we'll never know. Whether it's his character, maybe something happened in his life. I think it's an important lesson, though, from the Dele Alli situation, that you never really know what's going on behind closed doors with any player. So yes, we can all sit here and say he's lazy, he's this, he's that, but no one really knows what's going on in Tanguy's life, why he is the way he is. But it's all we know is a massive shame that he is the way he is, and that's all, and that's the conclusion we can take. But we are going to have 18 more days of Ndombele, because it only goes on, only contract terminates on the 30th. So yeah, is what it is.
We don't have. Galatasaray's got 18 more days.
It's a sad look. He's back at Tottenham, I think, now, isn't he?
No, they said that
he was pictured with the Tottenham kit man.
No, he said see you soon to Tanguy Ndombele, but his loan ends on the 30th of June. That's when his loan ends.
So, is what it is with Ndombele. I hope he's gets his act together and he finds a new club and maybe has a rebirth in his career. But unfortunately, the way it's going, he's going to struggle to find a new club, let alone any club right now that is a worthy visibility. He's going to struggle to find them because no one's going to really want that kind of play around the dressing room at the moment.
Yeah, it's very true. And, you talk about those kind of loan spells that haven't worked out. Back to Lyon, where he made a name for himself, Turkey, Italy, even though he's picked up trophies in those times, you can't think of what country he can go to, what club he can go to and really make an impact now after what he's shown in the past 4 years, which is a sad case because the ability that he does have, I think in terms of ability alone, it could be one of the most talented players I've seen walk through these doors. That's how good he actually could be if he applied himself, which is the most frustrating thing about it. But anyway, that book seems to be closed, and it's been a long time coming, let's be honest.
My prediction, he takes a big wage cut and he goes to a middle of the road team in France. That's my prediction.
Could be. Let's talk about Emerson Royal now. There's two reports coming out about him. Gazzetta Italia say that AC Milan are ready to pay between 18 and 20 million euros for the Tottenham defender, Spurs, and that will be matching Spurs' demands for the Brazilian fullback. Fabrizio Romano says that Emerson has 2 years left in his contract, so Tottenham want an important amount of money for him, something like 20 million euros, although Milan want to pay less than this. And there's a report coming out from The Athletic today saying that AC Milan have made contact with Aston Villa over Matty Cash. They're demanding 30 million euros, and AC Milan don't want to go anywhere close to that 30 million for Matty Cash, so it remains to be seen what happens there. But Athletic also said that the way Milan do deal with things is that they draw up a list of targets and they contact each and every single representative for those targets. So I'm not sure if this is going to hamper anything to do with the Emerson Royal deal, and if they favour Emerson over Cash or Cash over Emerson, it remains to be seen on that front.
The Paratici method, you're saying.
Yeah, exactly, the Paratici method. But Romano and Gazzetta Italia both talking about Emerson to Milan once again.
I think Emerson makes more sense anyway in terms of the style of player he is. I know Cash is maybe a better quality in terms of going forward, but in terms of AC Milan's style, I actually think.
But
Emerson,
Fonseca's in now.
Huh?
Fonseca's in now.
I know, but yeah, true. Fonseca is in, so maybe from that point of view, maybe they would prefer someone like Matt Cash. Matt Cash is a defender who does like to get forward. Obviously, you find him in the penalty area quite often with Aston Villa. He likes to get to the byline. I do feel like Emerson might be a bit more suited to Italian football, but obviously Matt Cash is going to be a bit more expensive. But then again, Villa might need to sell, which is why they're potentially letting go of Douglas Luiz because of their financial problems. So I do feel like a deal for Emerson would be more likely than Cash, though, just on the face of things, and also the price tag. So I think I'm not worried about them going for Cash rather than Emerson, but it's whether we can agree a deal with them. 20 million for me is a fair price, and it seems as though hopefully Milan can get close to that. Obviously, they want to pay lower, but I'm sure with add-ons we can come close to that kind of figure.
Agreed. Let's talk about Heung-min Son. He's been responding to this transfer speculation over the past week in an interview after the Korea game against China, and he said, "I've not had any exchanges with the club. I don't have anything to say at this point. I'm a little uncomfortable with the situation. I'm going to keep doing my best for Tottenham. I still have terms left on my contract. Money is not important to me. The most important thing is to play in a league that I enjoy playing in. I have so much more I want to accomplish in the Premier League." So obviously we all knew these speculations were never going to come to anything, but it's nice to see Sonny batting them away.
Of course. In terms of him being uncomfortable, it doesn't surprise me given his character that when he reads all the speculation, he knows that he ain't going to be going to Turkey or anything, so he doesn't like reading and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that he's like not happy or not really comfortable with that kind of talk. But obviously as well, when it comes to the contract, until it's signed and sealed, you can't really say anything for definite, can you? So I'm sure from his point of view, he just wants to get that contract sorted. He wants that extension. Obviously, we did extend it by a year, didn't we? Yeah. But I think he deserves a proper extension. I think we should give him new terms, a pay rise, with the fact that he's our club captain as well. He's still our best attacker by a long distance as well. So for me, he deserves a brand new contract, not just a year extension on the current terms, and to reflect his growing importance in the team. When you're going from, yes, he was important before, but now he's our club captain, and obviously he was a big part of being the face of the club. But now with Kane gone, he is literally the star attraction. He is the main man. He is Mr. Tottenham right now. So that wasn't the case when he signed that first contract. So I do think he deserves fresh terms. And until that's signed, I can understand that being a bit of a uncomfortable situation until that's negotiated with. But I hope we do offer it to him.
Yeah, and it's not just his stature within the club, his stature within the game, but it's the loyalty he's shown Spurs as well. You know, signing that contract under Nuno when, you know, he didn't really have to, but he showed his loyalty to Spurs. And we were obviously going in the wrong direction at that point. So you got to give him credit from all facets: his stature in the game, his stature at the club, his best player. He is the best player hands down at the club, and the most loyal one as well. So 100% he deserves that contract, and I'm sure we'll give it to him. I have no two ways. I have no questions about that. Another player to talk about is Will Lankshear. A Football League World journalist called Rahman Osman says that Middlesbrough are holding talks with Tottenham to sign 19-year-old striker Will Lankshear, who was signed from Sheffield United for £2 million. Borough have already made a contract proposal. There is also competition from him from clubs in Europe, with an outright sale not ruled out. However, Ali Gold has batted that away, and he said a long list of clubs in the Championship and across Europe are queuing up to take Will Lankshear on loan next season, including Middlesbrough in the bunch. Spurs have no intention of selling the prolific young striker on a permanent, so I'm very happy about that, because when I saw the report this morning saying that he could be going on a permanent, that didn't sit right with me after the season he has had in the under-21s. I think as many goals as many games this season in the PL2. So it's going to be good to see him get that loan move, whether it be to one of a European team or in the Championship. I think it'll be good to see him grow from a boy into a man next season.
Yeah, definitely. Physically, obviously, you can see the physicality level where he's playing at. It's not to his level. He's a level above, and that's why he's bullying defenders right now. He's a brilliant poacher from what it seems. The goals he's been scoring, pretty much all of them in the penalty area, but he's able to physically dominate his opponent. So he needs to go to a level which is going to more where you can match him physically and test him there. I completely agree. I don't want to sell him. I'd much rather loan him out and see how he fares, and potentially we could have an option, you know, in the coming years. That would be fantastic. But obviously we could be selling out a few youngsters, which is really encouraging. If we were to sell him, though, I think a buyback clause would definitely have to be in the offing. Obviously, we have seen other clubs utilise that. Most notably, Real Madrid are very good at utilising that clause when they do sell young players, always with an option of bringing them back into the fold. So I do wonder, if we were to sell him, how much we'd be demanding. Probably around 10 million, I'm guessing, between 5 and 10. I mean, it's just, look, a young striker scoring goals.
We paid 2 for him not long ago.
Yeah,
it was only about 2 years ago or something.
So you'd probably want, he's showing ability, so you probably want at least 5, I would assume.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a moot point because we're not looking to sell him anyway. But I think the club's stance on it, Ali Gold and Rob Guest both talking about it, saying we have no intention whatsoever to sell him. So I think that's the right move.
Yeah, but if an offer comes in of what, if someone bids 10 million, would we not sell? Maybe.
I don't think so. I don't think so, to be honest. I think you want to keep him around with the season he's just had. The upsides, I mean, the downsides and the upsides, when you look at both ways, I think keeping him just makes sense on every level, no matter what bid comes in. You're not going to get a bid of 15, 20 million from him, are you?
No.
So I think you keep him at the club, whatever happens.
Yeah, I think that'll be my preferable move right now, and I think a Championship loan will be great. But if a team in around Europe, they're saying teams in Europe are looking, maybe they're talking about Dutch league potentially.
Dutch league, or maybe even the Bundesliga. You know, the Bundesliga would like to take young English talent.
If he goes to a top league and he goes to a team where they're going to give him minutes, that'll be fantastic. I'd really be interested in that. So,
yeah.
But the Championship as well will be a good level for him to test him out. So let's hope he gets a loan move, and we can keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Couple of incoming potentials to talk about. Vanderson, publication called Team Talk, say that Tottenham are preparing a substantial bid of 30 million for Monaco's defensive talent Vanderson. This move comes amidst interest from Manchester United as well. So I guess this is obviously very much linked to the Emerson story.
Yeah, but it is also Team Talk, so
yeah,
can't really got to take what they say with the picture saw. But as we said, the links with Vanderson are growing a bit, so that's good. And I agree. I don't think we sign him until Emerson leaves, but I do think once the Emerson deal concludes, then I think you'll see some movement there.
Yeah, if you get if you get Emerson out the door for, let's say, 20 million, you get Jed Spence out the door for like between 5 and 7 million, something like that. That pretty much pays for a Vanderson, doesn't it?
That'd be great.
So shouldn't really affect the budget in terms of the money that we do have available to spend. Last but not least, let's talk about Tammy Abraham. Gazzetta Italia say that West Ham are leading the race to sign Roma striker Tammy Abraham. Aston Villa and Tottenham are both interested as well. And another publication in Italy, Messaggero, says that Tottenham are keen on signing Tammy Abraham ahead of this summer transfer window. Roma are understood to value the player at 30 million euros, but are prepared to let him go for around 25 million euros. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, it's not a bad fee, but for me, I don't want to sign a striker. If we're signing a striker, it has to be one who's a clear upgrade on what we have, or at least one who could be a clear upgrade on what we have. Abraham, as I've said, I like Abraham. I actually don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a good striker. He's proven himself. He's proven he's capable of scoring goals at the top level at Chelsea and at Roma. But he's just off the back of a very serious injury, and I don't want to be signing a player, for me, that could very well take a year to get back to his best potentially. I don't see him being back to his best next season. And also the season before his injury wasn't the best season anyway, so he's 2 seasons where he hasn't been at his best, and one season with serious injury. So for me, if we were signing him as a backup striker, it's a different story. But we have Richarlison there, we have Sonny who can play in the 9, we have players who are more than capable of doing what Abraham, in my opinion, probably offers right now. So it's not a deal I would go with. He would be perfect for a team like West Ham or Villa, where he can be an option for them. I think for us, what we're trying to achieve, I wouldn't be spending 25 million on Abraham right now.
Yeah, I can see him going back to Villa being a backup option for Ollie Watkins. I can see him going to West Ham being an upgrade on someone like Mikel Antonio. But for us, I just don't want to see him through the door. I'm looking at players with a much higher caliber of Tammy Abraham. We should be looking at the deals of like Dusan Vlahovic, players of that kind of level, Victor Gyökeres, these kind of players. Tammy Abraham is a downgrade, in my opinion, of Richarlison. So, yeah, he has had good seasons in the past, but he's never seemed to put like consecutive seasons of doing really well together at the top level. He did well at Aston Villa, in the Championship, went off back to Chelsea the next year and did well in the Premier League. But at the top level, I don't think he's ever had 2 consistent seasons of scoring a good amount of goals. So, not for me, Tammy Abraham. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you like to see Tammy Abraham through the door? If not, let us know which striker you would like to see. But that is the Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we brought to you as well. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.